Welcome, and for those of you that are coming back, welcome as well. Today I'm going to be showing you my top 10 indie decks in my collection, you guys. And at number 10, we have the Red Seeds Tarot, the Ellusian Mysteries by Linda Hill. You guys, I love this tarot. I use this tarot on a regular basis. I love the drawings. Let me just show you around because this is really a fabulous deck. The box opens up in two like this, and this is the back of the box, and you can read that as well if you like. Pause your device and read that. And these are the cards, you guys. They are larger than usual. This is how much bigger they are, as you can see here. So they are larger cards, which to me is great. I love larger cards. And this is the back of the card. They are not reversible. And the cardstock on this deck is fabulous, you guys. Really, it is cardboard-like, but it's very sturdy. It's robust. Nothing really happens to this. This deck is not gilded. So this deck is not gilded, you guys, but it just doesn't matter. When it comes to shuffling this deck, you're going to have to be a little bit creative about it because it is larger than your usual deck. And this is art-based, this deck. However, this has different names to the major and minor arcana. This has different drawings as the RWS. Nevertheless, you guys, this is a beautiful deck. Let me show you some of these cards because they are truly beautiful. And by the way, every single card was drawn by Linda Hill. She is an amazing artist. My deck came from England. I believe that's where Linda Hill is based. Let me show you some of the other cards. This is the Seven of Bees. So bees are swords. And so that's that one. And this deck, these drawings are just gorgeous. I love these drawings. Each and every one of these cards is a piece of artwork. And I've said this before in some of my other videos, I would love to have some of these paintings because they are just gorgeous. So this is the Hierophant. Some of the cards have the same names. And you guys, this comes with an amazing book. These are not only beautiful cards, but this book is also beautifully written. Look at this. It is a thick book. It is over 170 pages. And this is what it looks like inside. It gives you a full depiction of the card, and then it gives you the description of the card. It comes with the mysteries, which is a little bit history about the card. And then it gives you the soul journey, which is really the meaning of the card. And please go right ahead and pause your device there and take a read at that if you like. And all of the book is sort of like that. It's beautiful. I love reading this book. The passages on it are beautiful. And there is a nice personal myth. There is a nice introduction. There's the myth of Demeter and the Ellusian Mysteries, the tarot structure, the inner temple spread, the arcanas, the major arcana, and the minor arcana. So, and here it says, the bees are air, the torches are fire, the vessels are water, and the seeds are earth. So you guys, that's the book, and that is The Red Seeds by Linda Hill. Beautiful indie deck, you guys. If you don't have it, I definitely recommend that you look into it. I am so happy that I have this deck on my collection, and I use this deck a lot and enjoy it very, very, very much. So with that being said, you guys, let's go to deck number 9. Deck number 9, the Shamanic Tarot. This deck is beautiful. This deck is unusual. And this is one of the reasons why I really, really love this deck. Because the presentation is beautiful. The cards are stunning. The size of the cards. This is the box that it comes in with. As you can see, the writing is in gold. Here is a cloth covered this box. It's absolutely stunning. This is a very beautiful purple. Then you open the box, and of course it comes with a book here, and the book pretty much goes into the major or minor arcana. It's very elegant. These are paintings that are super modern and abstract paintings, and this is no RWS. Well, it is based on the RWS, but you are not going to see any images that resemble RWS. So be prepared for that. But that's one of the reasons why I really like this deck, because it's different. And if you look at the book, it gives you a small picture of the card, and then it gives you the meaning of the card. But there's something really special about this deck. And by the way, you guys, make sure that you stay all the way to the end, because the number 1 deck might be a surprising one, or maybe not. Maybe you have seen that deck on one of my other lists. We'll see. be surprised. And you guys, these are the cards. Look at these beauties. I love them. By the way, this box is like empty everywhere. There's no writing or anything, just on the front of the box. And these are the beautiful cards, you guys. Look at that gilding. It's not just gold. It's sort of like a rainbow. I forget what they call this, but it's not just purely gold. It has different tones in it. And look at these drawings. They're just, you know, do you see any queen there? Do you see any pentacles there? No, you don't, because there is not. And the card stock, it is rather on the thin side, and these cards are totally shiny. So if you don't like shine, then this might not be the deck for you, but these are just beautiful. This is the back of the card. They are not reversible, as you can see. The color here is different than on the top. And these are larger size cards, you guys. Once again, another large size deck. You see that? A lot different than your regular. And when it comes to shuffling this deck, you're going to once again want to shuffle it like this. At least that's how I shuffle it. I don't ripple shuffle my decks, as many of you know. And if you didn't know, I don't. I feel like ripple shuffling really damages my decks, and I don't want that. They've costed me a lot of money. So I like to really take care of them. And there's very few of them that I would ripple shuffle. But honestly, I think maybe 1 out of 300 get rippled shuffle, if even. I don't like that. And so if you want to do a spread with this deck, it just works absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. Yeah, that's because of the paper. It is sort of a thinner paper, but it's the 4 of coins. And one of the things that I really like about this deck is that, in case you were wondering what this was, because it can be misleading, even though there is 4 dots here, so you would think immediately that this is the 4 of coins. But however, that's for this particular card. Not all cards give it away like that. But my point is that you get to see what this card means. So here it means stability, conserving energy, money, and time, spending less time holding onto material things that have little to do with a free spirit. Not beautiful. And I love the way it's written also. What do we have here? We have the 2 of C. So this is the 2 of cups. Love, relationship, healing, partnership, giving and receiving love, a new commitment, duality in nature, attraction, and support. But the drawings, right? These drawings are like, I've never seen anything like them before for a tarot deck. Of course, I have seen paintings like this, but never in a tarot deck, right? So super interesting. I love the colors. Also, the printing on this deck is really, really quality. This is the 8 of fire. This is movement, fast-paced change. Enthusiasm and energy are abundant. Travel and progress. Be sure to pay attention to details. Let's draw one more so you kind of get an idea. And this one is the 6 of earth, or 6 of coins. Charity, abundance, and prosperity, the act of giving and receiving. Share with others, and abundance begins to... I love the Dream Dust Shamanic Tarot, you guys. I think it's beautiful. I think it's rare. This is one of my most unique decks out there. I just totally love this deck. So with that being said, you guys, let's jump to deck number 8. Tarot number 8, the Tarot Oscuro. You guys, this deck is just wacky, but it is so artistic. It is a wonderful indie deck, and I am super happy that this deck is in my collection. I have it on a couple of other lists. Well, many of these decks have been on some of my other lists, but this one is just wacky. This is what the front of the box looks like. This is what the side of the box looks like. And this is what the back of the box is. So pause your device and take a read at that if you like. And I'm going to show you inside. This box closes with a magnet here on the side. It's a very nice box. And so has the sun here on the side. This is the book. And the book is pretty complete, I must confess. It is over 150 pages, and it gives you a small picture of the card, and then it gives you the meaning of the cards. So the devil, el diablo, and yeah, it goes right into the major and minor arcana, and that's about it. But this is the 5 of cups, and you can pause your device and read that if you like. It is a very unusual deck. I really personally enjoy this deck very, very much. So this is the back of the cards, you guys. They are reversible. So if you read in reverse, then that might be something for you. The card stock is really good. It's robust. It is on the shiny side. and you might be able to see some of your fingerprints here, but it really doesn't matter. And I kind of like it that it is on the shiny side, although I don't really prefer shiny paper. This one is okay because it can be so dark that the shininess just kind of brings it or makes it a little bit more lighter, if you know what I mean. And so it is really wonderful when it comes to cardstock. Look at that gilding. It's like a gray, so, or a silver, I should say. I don't have any other decks that have a silver like that. So let me show you what some of these cards look like. This one is the 8 of Wands, as you can see. It's just a wacky deck, you guys. Now, when shuffling this deck, I don't think you're going to have a problem. They are a little bit on the thicker side, so it might be that if you have small fingers, you might have a little bit of a problem with it, but I don't really seem to have that much of a problem with it. Well, there we go. And if you want to do a spread with this deck, it just does a beautiful spread. Let me show you some of these guys because they are really interesting cards. This is the King of Wands. So it's like nothing you've seen before, honestly. They are just so extraordinary. It's what makes this deck really, really special. This is the Page of Wands. So I think it makes a great Halloween deck. I think it makes a great clarifier or a shadow deck. If you want to use it as a shadow deck, it works really, really well. This is the Ace of Cups. I personally find it a bit too hard to do a complete reading with this deck because the conversation gets really sort of out of control, if you know what I mean, with this deck. So I have to balance it with another. I cannot just do a whole reading on this deck. It just seems to be a little bit too much. But this is the Moon and so on and so forth, you guys. This is the Tarot Oscuro. And this is by Estelle Rivière. And you guys, let's move now to deck number 7. Deck number 7, the Uzi Eros Tarot. And I will warn you, if you don't like nudity, then you might want to skip this deck because it is and so there is some nudity in there. This is a new deck for me. I have been enjoying this deck thoroughly. So this is an expensive deck, by the way, and I wasn't really sure if I wanted to get it or not. And in the end, I'm really, really happy that I got it. I have a couple of other Uzi decks and enjoy them very, very much. This is what the front of the box looks like. This is what the back of the box looks like. And you guys, they come sealed. I never break these seal up because I had to one time return one of these decks and I had broken the seal and the seller would not take the deck back because the seal was broken. So I, since then, just open it this way and it's fine. And so I take the cards out through the back and it seems to work just fine. And this is what the back of the cards look like, you guys. They are reversible, so if you read in reverse, that is awesome. Now the cardstock is that linen paper, which some of you love and some of you don't like very much. I am not thrilled about this cardstock, but I have been able to accept it and I've been able to like it because many of my decks come with this paper. I have been just getting used to it by now. I must say that there's some pros to it and there's some cons to it. So it slides a bit too much. So it can be that I cannot hold this deck, or maybe that this deck falls out of control because it is very slippery. But when it comes to shuffling, it shuffles really, really well. So, and if you like some of the falling cards, then you may like this paper. As you can see, if you do a spread with this deck, it works really well because it is on the slippery side. And so this is not shiny, by the way. This is sort of a matte. And let me show you what some of these images look like. They are peeps, but they are really beautiful peeps. I love the colors on this deck. I love the images on this deck, and the drawings I find absolutely elegant and beautiful and erotic as well. And I kind of like that. So that is the 3 of coins. This is the 2 of coins. We have here the Knight of Wands. And if you see that one, then you'll probably recognize what that is, right? So it is the Eros after all. So we are going to see some Nudity. This is the 6 of Swords, and if you look at the swords carefully, you can see what's there. And let me show you a couple more. It comes with some extra cards, and this is one of the extra cards that it comes with. This is the Empress, and yeah, it's an interesting Empress. I really enjoy the images on this deck. I think they're wonderful. I think they're elegant, and although it's an erotic deck, I still think it is so elegant, and the way they have done it, I think it's very, very stylish. And so I really enjoy working with this deck. Like I said, I got it not too long ago, but I seem to be enjoying this deck thoroughly. Now, this is not an inexpensive deck. As you can imagine, Uzi is normally expensive. So if you're interested in this deck, be prepared to pay for that, because it is going to cost you a good penny. And you guys, with that being said, let's jump to deck number 6. Deck number 6, the RWS Panorama. And you guys, this deck was an expensive deck. I could only get this deck shipped to me out of Thailand for some reason. That's where they produce it, that's where they sell it. And so it did take it did cost a bit of money, not only for the deck, but then also the shipping. And so at the end of the day, I paid about 100 for this deck when it was all said and done. But you know, I'm really happy that I got it. It's a very special deck, and let me show you what this deck looks like. If you've never seen it, it opens up like this, the box, right? So it's a hardcover box. These are the cards. This is the back of the box. This is the back of the cards, and they are reversible. These are the lilies. And you guys, these are numbered editions. This is the certificate, and this is copy number 238. So this is the first edition, and this is the Kickstarter version. So really, really, really cool. The card stock on this deck is absolutely amazing. I love it. It is very robust. Nothing will really happen to this. And I love shuffling, and I love handling this deck because of the card stock. I think it's wonderful. When it comes to shuffling this deck, I don't think you're going to have a problem. As you can see, I don't have a problem handling this deck. It just falls beautifully, and it's just really nice to handle and to shuffle. If you want to do a spread with this deck, it doesn't work absolutely perfect, but it does work pretty good. And let me show you what's so special about this deck. You're going to see images that you've never seen before. Well, of course, you're going to see the RWS images, but you're going to see these images in a much larger panorama view, I guess, like the name says. And so this is the 2 of coins, right? It's pretty interesting. So it turns out that he's actually part of a circus. So it's a little bit wacky as well. I like it. This one is the 7 of Wands. And this one is the 9 of Wands, and as you can see, he's totally guarding the entrance to some sort of a sacred space there, or maybe it's his house. This is the 3 of Cups, and this one is actually pretty normal, but they look like they are surrounded by fruits and wine and cups, so they're celebrating, you guys, which is very much like what the 3 of Cups tells us. This is the Emperor, and here you get a complete different image of where he's sitting, and you kind of get an idea of where picture takes place. And let me just draw maybe one more, and this is the 2 of Cups, as you can see. And don't they seem a lot larger than those houses? I don't know, maybe they are like giants in maybe they're like giants in this tiny village there, but I'm telling you, it is a different deck, but I really enjoy it. This one is the Queen of Wands, and yeah, interesting. There is her cat. So you guys, this is the RWS Panorama. This is a really special deck. I love the fact that this is in my collection. I enjoy using this deck a lot. And when I'm bored with everything, I take this deck out, because this one just kind of gives me a completely different view of what tarot looks like. So you guys, with that being said, let's jump to deck number 5. Deck number 5, the Slow Tarot by Lacey Bryant. This deck is absolutely gorgeous, you guys. It is a piece of artwork, as if any of the decks that I have been showing you are not pieces of artwork. They're all really pieces of artwork, and that's one of the reasons why I love tarot and I love collecting them, because I'm an art lover, and this is artist showing us what or how they think a card should look like. And so that's one of the reasons why I love tarot. Now, anyway, this box breaks into two, and it's a hardcover box. There's really not much to the box. It is rather on the simple side. This is the back of the box. A little bit of history. Lacey Bryant is based in San Francisco, or at least the gallery is based in San Francisco, and my deck was shipped out of San Francisco. And so I'm imagining that all of these paintings are there in the gallery, or at least were in the gallery. I don't know if they've been sold or what, but I'm going to show you some of these paintings. They are absolutely gorgeous. Now, I don't relate to all of the images on this deck, but I relate to a lot of them. What I really like about this deck is the style of painting. I think that this artist is absolutely wonderful. And so this is the booklet that it comes with. It is really not an impressive booklet. It goes right into the major and minor arcana, and that's pretty much all that there is to that. Now, this is that linen paper as well. So these cards tend to be a little bit on the slippery side. And so if you look at the back of these cards, you will see that they are reversible so that you can use them in reverse. And I'm going to show you what it would be like if you needed to shuffle this deck. It's that linen paper, so it's gonna fall just perfect on your hands, and it's going to make that perfect sound. However, you need to be very careful that these guys are not jumping all over the place, because you might lose control of them. So the paper stock quality, not only is it that linen, but it's also sort of on the thinner side. So if you have smaller fingers, if you have problems lifting cards, these are not going to be a problem for you to handle. They are actually pretty easy to handle. And if you do a spread with these cards, it just works beautifully. Now, you just have to be careful that they don't slide, because they do slide all over the place. Now, let me show you some of these beauties, because they are really beautiful. This is the Nine of Cups. Look at that. I love the artwork on this deck, you guys. This is an honest deck. You're always going to get your answer right exactly how you need to hear it, whether you want to or not. Which one is this? This is the Six of Cups. And by the way, you guys, I've been using this deck a lot. Ever since I got it, I just can't get my hands off of it. I'm so happy that this deck is on my collection. Really, I love this deck. And this is the Moon. And sometimes, because it is raw, and this deck will give it to you raw. And if you don't want to get a raw answer, then don't pull this deck out, because this deck doesn't beat around the bush. This deck is going to give it to you exactly how it is. So this is the Magician. Cute, right? And let's pull one more. And as I said, you guys, all of these cards are pieces of artwork. Look at that Knight of Cups. I love that. What is that? That's like half horse, half seahorse, right? Like the front of the horse is like a normal horse or an earth horse, and the back of it, it's a seahorse like. So it's beautiful. I love this deck. And this one is the Chariot. Look at the colors. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you, Lacey Bryant, for making such a gorgeous deck. I'm so happy that I have this deck in my collection. And with that being said, you guys, we are going to see they're slippery. With that being said, we're going to jump to deck number 4. Deck number 4, the Green Menagerie Tarot. And now, you guys, I was not able to get a new version of this deck. I looked and looked and looked and could not find a new version. So I don't know if they're still in print or if they're not printing them anymore, but I got this deck used, and I was sort of weary when I first got it, because I have never gotten a used tarot before. But I got it through a store on Etsy, and I am very surprised. It was fine. Everything was totally good when I opened the box, and the cards are in perfect condition. So I'm glad that I was able to get it. And I looked for a long time. I just couldn't find a new version of it anymore. This is a beautiful deck, you guys. This is the box that it comes in. And this is the back of the box. Side of the box opens like this, and then you get a really nice book that comes inside. Now, there is no explanation. There is no introduction. There's nothing about the artist or the creator of this deck. The only thing that this book gives you, well, not the only thing, but it goes right into the major and minor arcana. So here is a sample of what those pages look like. On this side of the book, you get an illustration of the card, and on this side of the book, you get the definition of the card. And so that goes on, and that's pretty much the book. Out here, this book is in a rose petal, and this book must be about 150 pages. So it's a very nice book. I am happy that I got it. And these are the cards. Here inside is a velvet, and the cards pull out like this. By the way, you guys, these cards have only green and black and a little bit of orange as colors. It doesn't have anything else as the theme. Of course, when you turn the cards around, then you will see many other colors. And when it comes to size, this is regular size, so I don't even have to measure it with another deck. It is just regular size. These cards are gilded in green. This is the only deck where I have a green gilding, you guys. I find it absolutely stunning. And cardstock is really beautiful on this deck. It's robust, it's not too thick, it's not too thin, but it is sort of on the thicker side. I guess I take that back. And it is just perfect. They slide really easily. So when one wants to shuffle this deck, it shuffles really, really well. And one of the beautiful things about this deck, and by the way, you guys, when you do a spread with this deck, it works pretty well. And one of the things that I really like about this deck is that the themes are so different. I would say that this is your perfect collage sort of a deck, because you are going to see images that you have seen many, many times, and you're going to see images that are totally unknown, or pictures that you've never seen before. And this is a perfect example of that. This is the Eight of Wands, and this is very RWS. It is RWS inspired, and this is one of them. By the way, you guys, this is not shiny and it is not matte, so actually it is. And by the way, you guys, this is matte completely. The back of the cards are reversible, so if you read in reverse, that'll work really well. But once again, this is the Eight of Wands, and it's a very familiar picture. This is the Seven of Swords, and once again, this is totally familiar, as you can see, very much RWS. But then you get to the Ace of Wands, and the Ace of Wands just has a salamander on it. So I bet you've never seen that before, but this is the Two of Wands. This is the Knight of Swords. This is the Five of Cups, or the Eight of Cups, I'm sorry. This is the Page of Cups. Beautiful, isn't it? And I love this deck and the fact that this deck keeps changing keeps the conversation going as I do a reading with this. And this is a deck that I use on a very regular basis. So the conversation keeps going and going and going, because every single card, not every single card, but all of a sudden you will get an RWS pick, and then all of a sudden you get a completely foreign pick to the RWS. So it's chatty, it keeps the conversation going. The printing on the deck is beautiful. The colors are absolutely stunning. Look at that. Look at that Nine of Swords. I just absolutely adore it. This is the Hermit. This always reminds me of Christmas, this Hermit, because of the colors in the snow. And so on and so forth, you guys. That is the Seven of Cups. That is the green Menagerie. It is a beautiful indie deck. I'm so glad that I have this deck in my, and I look forward to working with this deck for a long, long time. So with that being said, you guys, let's go to deck number 3. Deck number 3, the Crimson Asteria Tarot. Talk about lush, talk about elegance, talk about festive, talk about just absolutely delicious when holding and handling these cards. This deck is absolutely gorgeous, you guys. It's an indie deck. It is rather on the expensive side. I ordered my deck directly with the creator in Canada, so my deck came all the way from Canada, and I'm just so glad I have this deck. I use this deck on a regular basis. Look at this box. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is the side of the box. This is the back of the box, and the sides are beautiful. The box breaks into two, as you can see here, and it is a hardcover box. This is the book that it comes with. The book is okay. I could have done with a better book, I thought, for the price that I paid, but it goes right into the major minor arcana. There's really nothing to brag about this book. It is very run-of-the-mill. This sort of gives you an idea of what the drawings inside look like, and it is okay, this book. It's one of my least favorite books. You can go ahead and pause your device there if you want to read that. Once again, I wish the book would have been a little bit better, but it wasn't. Look at that gilding, you guys. Beautiful red gilding, right? Absolutely stunning. Look at the front of that card. It is beautiful. They are unfortunately not reversible, but you might get away with it. If you work with reversed cards, you might want to try it anyway because you may get away with it. And so beautiful gold, beautiful red. And this deck doesn't have that many colors in it. It's really red, gold, and pinks with a little bit of, not a little bit, but much white in it. They're very elegant. The cardstock on this deck is absolutely gorgeous. It's that rose petal, but it's not that bad. When I say not that bad, I mean that when it comes to shuffling, you can still shuffle these cards very, very well. It is a bit larger than your usual deck, so I'll tell you that right off the bat. And so when it comes to shuffling this deck, you are going to have a bit of a problem. As you can see, they're very thick. They are sort of on the heavy side, but that's what makes them lush, right? I shuffle them like this and I seem to manage, not a problem. If you want to do a spread with this deck, it spreads really well as well. So let me show you what some of these cards look like because they're really, really beautiful. This one is the Seven of Cups. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I love the octopus. And as you can see, once again, it's got golds, it's got white, and it's got those pinks and reds all over it. Other than that, you're not going to find a lot of other colors. This is the Eight of Cups. Beautiful, right? It looks almost like a child painted this, but of course, a child couldn't have painted something like this, but it looks like that. So this is a deck that is not going to throw the answers at you. It's going to kind of sing at you when you do. And I do a lot of readings with this deck, and it just gives it to me in a soft, calm way. And I like that. So when I'm not feeling very heavy, I will grab this deck and I will use it, and it will always give me the right answers with a soft feeling to it. Nothing heavy about this deck. This is the Nine of Pentacles. Look how beautiful, right? I love it. I really love it. And of course, this is RWS inspired, so you're going to see a lot of similarities with the RWS, and it's just gorgeous. It comes with some extra cards, and the book will give you the meanings of those cards. This is the Page of Cups. Look at that. I love that. What is that? This is a creature from out of this world. This is the Knight of Cups. This is the Ten of Wands. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. If you're starting with tarot, if you're seasoned with tarot, this is a deck for everyone, you guys. It is on the expensive side. I think I already mentioned that. But can I say this? It is absolutely worth every single penny. So you guys, with that being said, let's jump to deck number 2. Deck number 2, the Tarot of Paul's Moon. This is an absolutely stunning deck. I got it not too long ago. Now, I've heard a lot of comments online that this deck is overrated and it is too expensive, and people don't really want to put the money out for this deck. They just think it's overrated. I happen to think that this is one of the best investments I have ever made. I love this deck to bits, you guys. It is really, really beautiful. I'm so happy that this deck is in my collection. It is a wonderful addition to my collection. I'm going to show you exactly why. This is the box, and this is the back of the box. This is the side of the box. This is the front of the box. And yeah, it's an expensive deck, as many of you have pointed out. By the way, this is the cover of the box. It is hardcover and it breaks into 2, as you can see here. This is the book that it comes in with, you guys. It is the only leather covered book that I have in my entire collection for a tarot deck. They did really a beautiful job with this. It is gilded in gold, and it basically just gives you the picture and the description of the card. And so you can pause your device and take a look at that, read that if you like. And that is all that there is in this book. Major and minor arcana. It doesn't tell you anything else. Now, this is a signed limited edition, and I've got deck number 280 out of the 750, and this is the certificate of authenticity. Let me show you what these cards look like, you guys. This is the back of the card, and they are not reversible. So if you read in reverse, that may be a problem for you, but look how beautiful. I love the paper stock on this deck. It is absolutely stunning. It is really exactly in the middle. It's not matte, it's not shiny, it's sort of in the middle. It just has a beautiful feeling to it. It's thick but thin. It's got the perfect thickness to it to be able to handle it. The size is a bit bigger than your regular card. I must tell you about that. They are a little bit wider, but I don't think they are exactly the same length when it comes to height, but they are a bit thicker on the sides. And it's just beautiful, you guys. It is not gilded. And when it comes to shuffling, I shuffle it like this because it is on the thick side and it is hard to shuffle. If you have short fingers, I think that's going to be a minus for you. And they are rather heavy cards, but but I don't have any problems with my hands. So for me, this deck works really well, and I kind of like the heaviness of it, and I kind of like the thickness of the quality of the paper stock. It just works really, really well for me. This is a deck that is Middle Ages inspired. What does that mean? It is RWS inspired, of course. It is Middle Ages. The drawings are Middle Ages. And it is good if you are starting with tarot or if you are already seasoned with tarot. This is a deck for everybody, which is one of the most wonderful things about this deck. If you want to do a spread with this deck, and by the way, you guys, I did a full review of this deck line and it is on the channel, so you can go back into the channel and take a look at it if you want to look at the full review of this deck. And let me show you what some of these cards look like, because they're absolutely stunning, you guys. This is the Sun. Look at that. And it comes with some extra cards, so be aware of that when you decide to get this deck. This is the Emperor. So if you like Middle Ages inspired, this is definitely a deck that you might want to get. This is the Four of Pentacles. Beautiful. I think it's absolutely stunning. This is the Page of Pentacles, Strength, and the Eight of Pentacles. Absolutely beautiful deck. I am glad that this deck is in my collection. So glad that this deck is in my collection. This is one of my favorite decks, and I am so happy that I am able to use this deck on a regular basis. And I am also happy that I'm able to have it so I can share it with all of you. So you guys, with that being said, let's go to deck number 1. Deck number 1, the Haptic Tarot by Nick Jacobs. You guys, this is a beautiful indie deck, and I am so lucky because I got in touch with Nick because I wanted to get another copy of this deck, and when he contacted me back, he said to me, no, we are not going to be making this deck anymore, such as an indie deck. He says it's going to go into mass production. And then he said to me that there were no more copies available. So I was like, oh my god, I am so happy that I got one of the copies because I really wanted to have an indie version of it, and I did. And so I think I got one of the last ones, so I guess it was meant for me. This is just a beautiful deck. Absolutely gorgeous. This is the back of the box, and you can pause your device and take a read at that. The front of the box is a nice hard covered box. It breaks into two. It comes with this book, and this book is really nothing to brag about. This one just goes into the major and minor arcana. I think it gives you about 2 spreads, a brief description of Nick, and that's about it. Yeah, that's the creator. That's Nick. And it gives you 2 spreads here, and then minor and major arcana. That's all that there is to that little book. And let me show you the size of these cards, because it is not your regular size card. As you can see, it is bigger than your regular. These cards are reversible. So if you read in reverse, that is perfect. Now, this cardstock is not that thick. It is that rose petal, but it is not that thick. It's sort of like on the thinner side. So when you are wondering how shuffling this deck is going to feel like, I personally don't have a problem shuffling this deck. It is sort of on the lighter side. The size of the cards don't seem to be a problem for me, so shuffling is just fine. If you do a spread with this deck, it's also not a problem. And of course, this deck is RWS inspired, but it's all about the hands. And I love the colors. I love just about everything on this deck. And there's a reason why it is on my number 1, right? So this is the world. I love it. It is so beautiful. This is the Queen of Swords. This is just a beautiful picture. I'm so attracted to the symbolism on this deck. The butterflies are one of my favorite things on earth. And I just think that is absolutely stunning. This is the King of Swords, also absolutely stunning. And you know, you don't really need to see the rest of the body to see how strong this man really is. You can see the veins pop in here. It just tells you the fury that is inside of him, right? This is the 3 of Wands, the 2 of Wands, the Ace of Wands, The Three of Cups. Beautiful, isn't it? Look at that death card. I mean, it looks sort of like a Frankenstein hand, right? It looks like it was just kind of put together here. Really amazing deck, so deep, and it will just give you your answers straight. It doesn't beat around the bush. It gives you your answers. It just is wonderful. This is the Seven of Wands, the Page of Wands, and let's pick some of the other ones here. This is the Ten of Coins, the Queen of Pentacles. This is the Nine of Swords, the Knight of Pentacles, and so on and so forth, you guys. Absolutely stunning deck. I am in love with this deck. I've been using this deck so much, I can't seem to get my hands off of it, really. I've done so many readings with this deck, and they've been amazing readings. So I'm really, really happy that this deck is on my collection. I have been enjoying this deck so much, and I have a feeling I will keep enjoying this deck for a long, long time. You guys, thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. And as I always say, you guys, thank you for watching, and until the next time.